Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for both the collective and the individual life path numbers for March 2022. As with all of these monthly videos, it's very important that you listen to the part for the collective because we are each a part of the collective. And that energy is what's really going to be potent during this time. And so it ties in with your individual life path number. That's why I don't put timestamps. This, of course, is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I have also just recently started offering one-to-one, face-to-face over Zoom life path coaching with numerology. If this is something that you're interested in, this is an opportunity for a 1-hour session where we dive in deeply into your numerology chart to discuss anything you want to discuss that you're currently facing or that may be coming up for the future for you. If that's something that you're interested in, just book some time with me. I would absolutely love to meet you face-to-face and to work with you in that way. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at the energies for March. So March ushers in the universal cycle of the 9 energy. During this cycle, we can find that we're able to think more abstractly and not quite so rigidly when it comes to our belief systems and how we move through the world. 9 energy is that of the humanitarian. It's an energy that honors self while also bringing in service towards others. So by opening our minds and our hearts, we can begin to see things from a broader perspective where greater, more elevated solutions lie. Aligned 9 energy sets out to bring people together with an emphasis on equality and justice for all. It's an energy of no one being left behind because if someone is struggling, ultimately we're all struggling in some way. So where we can find ways to coexist while doing no harm, then we're able to be a part of the greater circle. If one is being pushed out from that circle, it creates a gap that in one way or another, we all end up feeling, especially energetically. So 9 energetic cycles help us to find ways to do our individual part for the greater good, for the collective, and to bridge the gap, which I think now more than ever, we could use this energy. So it's beautiful energy, especially for March, especially for this time in history. So definitely work with it the best that you can throughout the month and always, but it's very potent this month. This is also a completion cycle, so it can indicate attainment, things coming to fruition from past efforts, such as rewards, earnings, return of investments. This is going to be a situation where you've put in the effort previously and now you're seeing those things again coming to fruition or coming to closure, and it can be closure that's abrupt or it can be closure that you're just kind of tying up that bow really nicely and moving on to the next thing. It can also indicate things falling away so that new seeds can begin to grow, creating a greater foundation for your future cycles. Similar to when we sort of lose our baby teeth as children so that our adult teeth can come in, shedding what no longer works or no longer supports us for something that does. Though this isn't the best energy for sort of starting anything big or new, it's more of a time for setting the intentions and making the preparations for this cycle to begin, right? So this cycle can feel somewhat busier than normal with a lot of added responsibilities being added to your plate. You can see a tremendous amount of inspirations and ideas, psychic and intuitive downloads coming in for you now. Pay extra attention to your dreams at this time and any kind of, again, visions that you have, ideas, inspirations. Now, this isn't necessarily, like I said, this isn't the cycle where we would necessarily take action on those inspirations or those big ideas. Although, we have to go with what comes up for us. So if life dictates that you need to take action, then take action. Don't let this sort of prevent you from doing that. But this isn't the most supportive energy for big ideas taking root when we take action on them just yet. This is the time for the sort of the incubation period, the ideas coming in, sort of exploration of those ideas and those inspirations, and maybe planning and deciding how we want to take action on these ideas. And then in the months that follow, then taking those big risks, those big inspired action, right? So this is going to be a time again to really sink into the more ethereal, sink into the inspirations, the ideas, the dreams. The dreams are going to be coming in very vividly, very strongly for those of you that are especially sensitive to that. You could notice that, again, your intuitive powers are even stronger during this time. You could notice that, again, your psychic powers are much more profound at this time, much more vivid. So pay attention to that. A lot of times that can hold messages. So we just need to be open to it, take note of it, and then revisit it down the road if we need to. So this is not going to be a cycle where self-serving or overly self-indulgent endeavors be supported. Instead, broad compassion, kindness, understanding, and more evolved actions are the ones that will gain the most traction. Friendships and relationships of all kinds can prosper and grow during this time, especially those that hold a similar vision for the greater good. So pay attention to who enters your sphere at this time, your reality, your experience, or who re-enters your life now. They could play a key role in the journey ahead. So be open to who you meet and the messages that they hold and the wisdom that they've come to share. This could be very important for your journey forward. Be mindful not to sort of cling to or get overly attached to experiences, people, or emotions that have run their course and that need to be released. Replaying events or stories in your head only to beat yourself up with them aren't allowing you to move forward into a sort of greener pastures, right? We may need to sort of shovel the manure every now and then, but we certainly don't need to sit in it. So extract the wisdom, release the person, place, or thing with an open heart and with gratitude for their contribution, and move along. There's much more adventure to be had beyond the self-created gates that we often create for ourselves, right? Release that stagnant energy and look forward to the future with joy and high expectation for what awaits you around the next corner, for what you'll create from these big ideas, these big dreams, these big inspirations that could be coming in for you during this cycle. This is incredibly beautiful, ethereal, creative energy, and just a time again for exploration on the softer side of things. So definitely embrace it to the best of your ability. Again, the energy can be present. It's always what we choose to do with it that makes the difference. Okay, on to the life path number. Life path 33, sixes. Okay, so I pulled an animal spirit card for you all, and you got snake spirit. And so snake's message for March is, this is a time for healing. And so what really kind of comes in, or the image that comes in, and this sounds cliche, but it's the image of like a snake shedding its skin. And so I feel like there's this possibility, or this energy around something happening or coming in for you where you're going to be able to shed something that just you've outgrown, right? That's no longer working for you. And trying to cling to that, whatever that is, would be like a snake putting that skin back on and trying to keep it because it's not ready to let go of it yet. It doesn't make logical sense, right? And so it's kind of the same image that I'm getting as far as like, there's something this month, I think, that may come to your attention. And again, this is a general reading, so this isn't going to be for everyone. But for those of you that this resonates, there will be something that will draw your attention to that, whatever that skin is that needs to be shed, whatever it is that needs to be released so that you can move forward uninhibited, right? Like not being kind of weighed down by dead skin. I don't know. So anyway, so I feel like this is going to be an opportunity for healing in a way where it's like you recognizing, okay, this is not for me anymore. So it's okay to change direction. Maybe I've been in whatever this is for a period of time. Maybe I've invested a tremendous amount of time, energy, and resources, but it's okay for me to release this if it's not working for me anymore. I can lose that whole like need to be everything for everybody type thing, right? So just kind of keep that in mind as you move through March, that there may be some things that really just feel uncomfortable to be in anymore. And those are the things that probably need to be released and, left behind so that you can go on a new path and so that that person or whatever can go on a new path. Okay, so looking at the month ahead for you all, I do feel like mid-month you've got some challenges coming in. End of the month, there's some things just more around like your thoughts type thing. So we'll touch on that. Beginning of the month is actually quite beautiful. I do feel like there's something here around relationships very, very strongly. There's potentially an opportunity for a new beginning around relationships. So this could be a relationship came to a close and then there's a new opportunity for either you to be, free and what is it called? Free and fancy free? No, I don't know what it's called, but I don't remember the saying. But it's kind of that energy of like, maybe you were in a relationship for quite some time and this is like you're stepping into your independence now and you're leaving that relationship behind. It served its purpose and now it's about you. And so you're going to embark on this new adventure and there's just this energy that feels very freeing. So if it is a relationship that's falling away this month or at the beginning of the month, I feel like it's one where you kind of known that it's ready to be released. But maybe you haven't been able to do that for some reason. And so I feel like now you're there and it can just feel really like a weight being lifted off your chest. This could be the closure of some kind of karmic cycle. We're also, again, in a 9 universal cycle. So a lot of closures and completions coming in. So it could very well be like closing of a karmic cycle. And sometimes when those end, when those close, it can feel very, very freeing. Like the lessons were learned, that karma has been cleaned up and now you feel free. So it can feel really, really good. It's very possible for that. This could also be taking a relationship to the next level. The two of you going on a new adventure or a new journey together, whether that's having a child or, children, whether that's just taking a big trip together, getting engaged, getting married, whatever. Some of those big life events that sometimes we go through as couples. Very possible for that. But it doesn't have to be romantic couples. It can be like friends and family or colleagues or whatever. But it feels almost like hitting a milestone and starting a new adventure. So that's exciting. This could very well be you starting a new adventure in a relationship. So it could be that maybe you've been single and now you've met somebody and you're starting this new journey. And so if that's the case, I would say with Snake's message, make sure that you're not carrying with you any baggage that you don't need to carry with you into this new experience. It's going to be really, really important that you sort of take the time to make sure that you're not projecting onto this new person conflict or issues or drama from a past relationship. Do you see what I'm saying? So releasing that dead skin, and so that you're not just clinging to it and carrying it with you and being uncomfortable in this new adventure. I think that's going to be really, really important as well. Also could be an opportunity for healing relationships. So if there's a relationship that maybe there were some issues around or there was struggle or whatever, I think this could be an opportunity for healing that. And the two of you being able to start a new chapter that looks very different from the previous chapters. So that's very beautiful as well. Of course, it's going to take both of you, meeting in the middle to be able to do that. But as a 33, I have no doubt that you can handle that. Okay, so then we move into the middle of the month. This energy, I'm not going to lie, feels a little heavy, feels a little challenging. I'm not really quite sure because it's a general reading, like what specifically could be coming in, of course, but it does feel like this, like there's some kind of realization coming in around someone or something that realization causes a little bit of distress, like causes some heartache, some just heavier emotions, right? that we are meant to feel through and to acknowledge, of course. But it's almost like maybe there were some rose-colored glasses on with this person, and it's almost like those rose-colored glasses are being ripped off, and you're seeing things for the way they actually are. So instead of the stories that maybe you created in your mind around this person, you're getting a very clear picture of who this person is in this moment and what that means for your relationship. So a lot of times this can come about and especially as 33s, because you do tend to, because you're so insightful and, again, intuitive and psychic and, loving and all those things, you can very easily see the good in people. And so you kind of go straight there, like, oh, this is the higher octave of this person, and I see their potential, and I see what they're capable of, and I see the beauty within them. It's really hard for you to come back down to where they are currently with their ego, because we all have ego, right? And so you don't have to move through their emotions and their ego, but they do. And so they're still at a space where they're not fully at their highest expression, because if they were, they wouldn't necessarily be here, right? Like, because then what's the point? So they would have transcended. So you can easily see that in another person, just like another person can easily see that in you. But we have to give them their space and their understanding that they can only meet you from where they're at. And usually that's going to include some form of ego, right? And so I think this could be a situation where, like, that bubble gets burst, and, like, you had this, like, vision of them, because, again, you can see their higher expression and their potential and all of that. So you have, like, this idyllic vision of them, and they do or say something that is where they are in reality right now, and it bursts the bubble. And so there may just be an opportunity here for you to go within and do some self-exploration there and see how much of this, was you projecting an image onto this person that wasn't fair necessarily, because they aren't capable of being there just yet. And how much of it is the person really kind of doing something that is disrespectful or whatever, and that needs to be addressed. Do you see what I'm saying? So I feel like this is going to be an opportunity for not only taking a closer look at the relationship, but also taking a closer look at how you are viewing the relationship and that person. Is it more idyllic, or is it more realistic? And can you meet somewhere in the middle? You see? So definitely something coming in around that. And I think that it could feel a little bit jolting, because, again, sometimes it's difficult when we're brought back to the reality of the situation or the reality of that person, and having to kind of reevaluate at that point. Just as other people have to do with us if they're able to see our highest expression, because we are absolutely not at our highest expression. Because, again, if we are, then what? We don't really need to be here anymore. You see what I'm saying? We've learned all the lessons, right? So I just think there's going to be a time for some taking a look at things with a dose of realism, I guess. Okay. Then we move into the end of the month, and this is interesting energy. This is very interesting. So it's basically like you have, like, this larger than life, the world opening up for you energy. But then you have this very restrictive energy where it's like you are holding yourself back. You're keeping yourself bound. You're not permitting yourself to explore something bigger. This could be like if you've been in a job for 10 years and you feel very safe and secure in that job and it meets all your needs, but you get an opportunity or a job offer maybe for something so much bigger that you don't feel qualified for, that you don't feel that you can step into or do justice, and all these things, right, that we tell ourselves. And so there's the potential here of you missing a really great opportunity because of self-doubt. and you keeping yourself confined or giving yourself the reasons of why you can't pursue this or why you can't accomplish this or why you can't do this or why you can't enter into this relationship or whatever. There's something here about like the world kind of being opened up for you in a big way, in a very supportive way, and people showing up in a supportive way, but you keeping yourself very small and restricted. So really the message is pay really close attention to your thoughts at this time, but it's also where I could see snake energy coming in also to be like, how can we heal these self diminishing thoughts, right? Like the self-defeating thought processes that keep going through your mind to keep you small. How can we remove those, or how can we work through them so that we can change the dynamic? This is definitely an opportunity for healing, and healing any self-doubt or self-criticisms or anything that we, put on ourselves to keep ourselves small, because there's definitely like this very small energy, this feeling of like meek and mildness and not wanting to like rock the boat. But then this very big expansive energy of you being center stage and you taking on the world and like having the support of, from every corner of the world, and just a really big energy. And so it's almost like you have a choice at the end of the month, which direction you want to move into. Do you want to keep keeping yourself small? And I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying this is the energy, right? But do you want to move in the direction of staying small, or do you want to take a risk and move towards something much bigger, which would expose you, right? It would make you vulnerable in a way. But sometimes we have to do that to be able to make our comfort zone bigger, to experience new things, to find new things out about ourselves that we didn't know we had access to, that we were even capable of. So I think there's going to be an opportunity here for you to really take a closer look at that, especially if an opportunity arises or in a big idea. Definitely. And this is a perfect time this month for big, explosive ideas to come in a powerful way. And you can either entertain those ideas or you can shoot them down because you don't feel ready or qualified or whatever, or capable. And so I think it's going to be really important for you to push beyond what you think you're capable of at the end of the month, and just take a risk and just try it and just see. At the very least, explore it and see what comes up, and take a closer look at those self-defeating thought processes and why it is that you might be having them, right? That's part of the snake spirit of healing and also shedding that skin, because those thoughts, those stories don't serve you. So, Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. I think this is going to be an interesting month for you all. Definitely a lot of opportunity for healing and changing belief patterns that are no longer serving or that haven't served in the past, that could open you up, by making those radical changes in your thoughts or belief patterns or whatever. Making those radical changes could open you up to big new experiences. So whether you're ready for it or not, right? Sometimes we just have to take that leap of faith, whether we're ready or not, because 9 times out of 10, we never feel entirely ready. So I hope it's a beautiful month for you all. Thank you so much for listening, 33s. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.